I've been telling people is that somewhere between March 6th and May 6th, we'll get the ruling. It could be today or it could be May 6th. All we can do is say, if you look at her previous cases, this is the general timeline for the summary judgment decision. If May 1st comes and she hasn't decided, I'll be surprised.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as that was a powerful message from community attorney representing 75,000 XRP holders, John Deaton. And before I get into anything else, I have to state this. This clip was from a Thinking Crypto interview, and I have to give a message to a lot of people. You see, there's a small contingent of the XRP community that gets genuinely upset when dates are thrown out. And to those people, I'd like to ask, what the hell do you want us to do? We're in a speculative market with one of the biggest crypto cases on the planet. And we're getting community lawyers that are professionals, giving their best educated guesses based on previous judge decisions on when a good, decent, realistic time frame for a decision will come out. Ladies and gentlemen, what you all need to understand is you cannot be shooting the messenger, when in reality the governmental process takes a long time. Everyone's doing their absolute best to try and get things as right as possible. And the reason being is because with this case, it's better to be a day, a week, a month too early than even 1 second too late. This is why we continue to tell every single one of you and warn you that something big is coming. And I want you all to maintain that perspective. Now, yet another powerful perspective from a community legend, Jeremy Hogan, on the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube channel was made. And I want all of you to take a listen as he gave a new potential outlook on why he believes that SEC won't appeal if Ripple gets a favorable ruling. This is something I haven't heard before, and I genuinely believe it's on the table.
Right, so your initial statement is correct. A settlement, there's no appeal of a settlement, of course. The problem with the settlement is it has no effect on any other cases in the space, right? So if Ripple settles with the SEC, it has absolutely no effect on the SEC's next lawsuit against another crypto company. So in a sense, it's good for Ripple, but a settlement between the SEC and Ripple is bad for crypto.
Correct.
Because in the past, remember, every lawsuit that the SEC has brought in the past against these companies, no one has really been able to put up a fight. I mean, Library put up a fight, but they only had like $1 million to fight the SEC, which in the legal world is not a lot of money. Ripple's put $100 million into fighting the SEC. And the facts for Ripple are pretty good, better than for most crypto projects. So this is the case where the SEC could what they're doing could be put to an end with the Ripple case, because that will then be the end of the SEC being able to make some of these arguments they've been making in the past. So if Ripple settles, all of that money for the crypto space is wasted. Now, they would have to do what's in the best interest of the company, but at the same time, it's not going to have any effect as far as the other, as far as crypto in general. If the judge rules in Ripple's favor, I do not think the SEC is going to appeal. And the reason I say that is because there's no benefit to the SEC to appeal, because if the case then goes up to the Second Circuit in appellate court and the Second Circuit rules against the SEC, now that becomes binding precedent. And the SEC is screwed as far as any other lawsuits that they want to bring. So if I'm the SEC, and I'm 90% sure this is what they would do, and they lose, there won't be an appeal, because they don't want to mess up their whole agenda here in enforcing these regulations against the crypto space. So in my mind, the only way we get the Ripple test is if Ripple loses at the trial court level, appeals it up to the Second Circuit, because then Ripple will do it because they have the money and they have the incentive to do it. And they're going to want the Second Circuit to say, no, we're going to replace the Howey test with the Ripple test, and we're going to require an investment contract to actually have a contract. So that's how that would all work. Now, time-wise, we get the judge's decision, let's say in April or May. The Second Circuit wouldn't be hearing it till next year. And if it goes up to the U.S. Supreme Court from there to really replace the Howey test, we're talking 2 to 3 more years from there.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's a perspective I've never heard before, but it's one that makes a lot of sense. You see, the SEC, they have an agenda right now to really cripple crypto. But unfortunately for them, they probably chose the absolute worst crypto company in Ripple to sue, and one of the most decentralized technologies to go after an XRP. We all know that XRP is not a security. And within the next couple weeks, the judge is going to come out with her major decision that is going to set a standard for the industry. If Hogan's prediction is correct, that this will not be appealed because the SEC does not want legal precedent, then in reality, we don't even need a settlement. We probably won't get one anyway, because the only reason a settlement would be needed is to prevent the SEC from appealing. You see, what could happen is that the judge rules in the SEC's favor, and then Ripple will be forced to appeal. But from all we've seen and the way the judge has been very frustrated with the SEC, I don't think she's going to give them a favorable ruling. Now, all of this is just speculation. All of this is just me giving my personal opinion based on the facts. But I think plenty of you guys see what I'm saying. Let's see what happens next. But time is running out before this judge decision comes into play. Now guys, something I do want to touch on is the US dollar. Raoul Paul's Real Vision stated the US dollar is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard. This is a narrative going around quite a bit today, and I want to give a contrarian view to that. All of you know that I'm personally allergic to fiat. Fiat currencies are a Ponzi scheme. However, we have to understand that timing is playing a pivotal role in this. So let's break down the facts. Since Nixon closed the gold window in 1971, a lot of people say that the US dollar's hegemony as the world's reserve currency is coming to an end, especially with the yuan's growing influence. The dollar has been the world's dominant reserve currency since the end of World War II thanks to the Bretton Woods Agreement. And right now, the dollar accounts for 58% of global central bank reserves, although that's down from 72% in 1999. However, countries that are closer in trade relations with China are increasing their yuan reserves. For instance, the Chinese created this liquidity agreement with Indonesia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Chile, with each country contributing about 2.2 billion. Western sanctions have made the yuan Russia's de facto reserve currency, surpassing the dollar in volume. Not to mention Saudi slowly cutting ties with the US and considering pricing its oil in yuan. Despite the rise of the yuan and Trump screaming out the end of the US dollar, it's rather likely to maintain its hegemony for a number of reasons. For starters, the US has large, open, and transparent markets, whereas China can't say the same. Second, central bankers and investors prefer the dollar due to its financial market depth and liquidity. Finally, a large market of American consumers and strong historical, cultural, and political ties to Western countries underpin the US dollar's value. So what does this all mean? The US dollar is likely to maintain its hegemony for the foreseeable future, though the yuan and other currencies may become increasingly important and even possibly become regional reserve currencies. This may result in a more balanced global financial system, or in polarization, sanctions, FX volatility, regional disputes, and trade wars between different trade blocs. Something else that I want to point out to every single one of you is, isn't it interesting how the US dollar is receiving maximum FUD right now, as the DXY is on top of multi-year support? You see, what's most likely going to happen is, this next month, we'll see a nice crypto rally. This next month, we'll see a powerful chance for us to profit take into the dollar, because I see a reality where the dollar gains strength and bounces off of the support level. Ladies and gentlemen, do not get flooded out of the dollar because of what's happening now. We still have plenty of years left before the US dollar gets replaced, and that's the warning I want to give. Fiat currencies are collapsing. Inflation is still extremely high despite the interest rate hikes, and they can't keep them going for much longer. This is a prediction that I have for all of you, and a firm warning that continued to get more confirmation from the Waters Above interview that I'm about to post very, very soon. And I genuinely hope all of you enjoy watching it. Now guys, before I continue to the next part of the video, I have to say that I have an extreme price about to explode bull run warning for all of you in my OnlyFans down in the description below. It's a crypto that I consolidated quite a bit of money into just yesterday, and I think it's about to have its time in the sun. It's been suppressed for far too long, and if you're interested in knowing which one that is, please subscribe. Now guys, some additional confirmation that we're heading into a potential uptrend for the dollar is the launching of central bank digital currencies. Black Swan capitalists stated they're going to use the engineered banking crisis to roll out central bank digital currencies, and this is their plan to control your life. Christine Lagarde warns that central banks could be losing control without Cbdcs. And you best believe it's a massive part of their plan, because as this banking crisis accelerates, India is targeting 1 million Cbdc users in 3 months, prioritizing offline transfers. But this is just the beginning for the inevitable endgame. And not only that, we have this clip from CoinDesk actually confirming what we in the XRP community have been saying for a long time. CbdCs will be a Trojan horse, and this will accelerate the adoption of a lot of these digital assets we all are invested in and believe in. Don't just hear it from me. The head of future and finance at Citigroup even said this himself.
Well, my friends who are much more in the public cryptocurrency space and usually hate the idea of CBDCs or centralized tokens, they'll be shocked when I say like CBDCs are going to be a reason to grow blockchain adoption. We think CBDCs will be a Trojan horse. It'll be like almost coming in from the side, the back door, and that's what's going to push the adoption in financial services of tokenized assets, tokenized money. And then we're going to be talking about TAMs, market sizes of trillions, not billions.
Trillions, not billions. The acceleration of the digital infrastructure and the technologies that will build the system they want is happening now. Eleanor Tourette reports that the US Treasury has released its 2023 DeFi illicit finance risk management, claiming it threatens national security. And despite this strong language, we know that that's synonymous with it gives us freedom. A threat to their national security is us having too much power over our own money. Ultimately, these regulations right now are going to get real tight and clamp down on crypto real hard, because they're going to pass things that enable the technologies that give them maximum control. And despite the fact that I'm very pro-freedom and I don't agree, I know it's inevitable. And I think betting against the government, the people that have all the guns and all the money, I think that's a mistake. I have put my pennies next to billionaire dollars and next to the technologies that the people that print trillions of dollars use, so that my pennies could eventually turn into billions of dollars. And that's very important to note. We're in delicate financial times, and being self-righteous about an idea, as opposed to actually investing in something that's going to make money, is a dangerous game. Right now, even Lynette Zhang is letting all of us know that she believes what's happening is the consolidation of the banking system into bigger banks. She believes Silicon Valley Bank got bailed out because they're systemically important for the future of the central bank digital currency infrastructure. And I'll tell you all why I agree with this 100%.
Lynette, I want to circle back because I'm watching the CBDC angle very carefully. So you're saying that you think that there was an incentive to bail out Silicon Valley Bank intentionally because you believe that some of the players there may be important to the technological rollout of a potential central bank digital currency?
Yes, I do.
But this is speculation. Or is there any link of particular companies or people that were bailed out that you know are actively helping with some of the technological processes that perhaps are being looked at or laid down?
Well, considering that it's the technology companies in Silicon Valley that got bailed out, I don't have necessarily a specific name. However, yes, I mean, it makes sense. It's logical. They're systemic, and they had a lot of, 97% of their deposits were uninsured deposits. Yeah. They got bailed out at 100%. Kind of reminds me of when we bailed out AIG 100%, and their counterparties on those derivatives were Goldman Sachs, all the usual players. So, right. No, I don't have a specific name, and it is my opinion. I cannot prove that, but logic kind of is there.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't you think that's so interesting? She thinks they're systemically important for CBDC infrastructure. Coinbase at the exact same time is echoing Ripple and XRP's message to the world, saying it shouldn't be so expensive to send money to someone in another country. It's fast, cheap, and simple to send crypto to anyone, anywhere in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that Circle banked with Silicon Valley Bank. There's been a lot of speculation that USDC could be the United States' central bank digital currency of choice. Is that possible? Who knows? We'll see. But it does go with Lynette Zhang's hypothesis for why Silicon Valley got bailed out. A lot of important tech entrepreneurs banked with them. And that's extremely important to know. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the precipice of something massive. The case decision is on its way. Central bank digital currencies are on their way. And all that to say, XRP is inevitable. We've always known it. That's why we own it. And I look forward to confirming all of your faith in it with this Waters Above interview. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at SWIFT? Former SWIFT board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.